Standard 8, Subject English, Unit 4, 4.5. Name of the lesson, A Battle to Baffle. So this is a lesson on which there is a battle which leads to confusion. And it is a short skit where there is an emperor and all the courtiers, scholar and the advisors. So let us first start the lesson, that is the skit, with warming up. First one, form suitable groups and discuss the following. You have heard or read stories of Akbar and Birbal, Tenali Raman, Mullah Nasruddin, and recollect and write down the names of those stories. So now I am going to tell the names of the stories. The first one, Akbar Birbal stories. The first one, the farmer who bought a well, the thief who robbed the merchant. In this way, you can also find out other stories of Akbar and Birbal. Then comes Tenali Raman stories. Now here Tenali Raman, you can say Tenali Raman and gang of thieves, and second the king's dream. Mullah Nasruddin. Here the names of the story is Falling on Deaf Ears, God's Wisdom. So these are the names of the stories. Now the next point, pick out those aspects of a story that you find a common in all their stories. So here the different aspects are given, and the common aspect in these stories are humor, wisdom, magic, wit, supernatural events, play upon words. So these are the aspects which are commonly found in these stories. Now the next is read the different types of sentences in reported speech and note the differences in the direct and indirect form. So here the students have to read these sentences and study about the direct and indirect form of speech. So last there are the rules given. The reporting of changes according to the type of sentence in the speech, change of sentence, change of word order in the sentence. So students have to observe these rules while changing direct speech into indirect speech. The third question, use a dictionary and find the difference of the following terms related to drama. So the first one, what is drama? Drama is a literary composition in the form of prose and verse, while play is a dramatic performance on stage. Then one act play is a play where all the action happens in one act with no breaks. Then skit, it grabs attention, identifies the character and situation, and resolves the story in 2 to 10 minutes. Now, mime is the act outing out of a story through body motions without use of speech. Now, farce, it is a comedy that seeks to entertain an audience through situations that are highly exaggerated. Now, opera, a stage drama set to music in its entirety. Tragedy is a genre of drama based on human suffering and mainly the terrible or sorrowful events. So, tragedy is a genre of drama based on human suffering and mainly the terrible or sorrowful events. Now, comedy, it is a dramatic performance having a light or humorous tone that depicts amusing events. So, that is the comedy. So, now the lesson, A Battle to Baffle. So, the name of the lesson is Battle to Baffle. So, here you will find there is a skit in which the king is seated and surrounding him there are the pandits and the scholars, even the mantriji. And then there is a discussion, there is a battle which leads to confusion. Baffle means confusion. So let us read the skit. Now here characters Tenali Raman, a witty poet, jester in the court of Emperor Krishna Dev Raya. So this is a witty poet, Tenali Raman, in the court of Krishna Dev Raya. Now, Krishna Dev Raya, Emperor of Vijayanagar Empire. So Krishna Dev Raya is a Emperor of Vijayanagar. Pandit Shahane, a highly learned visiting scholar, and Mantriji, the chief minister, and 8 to 10 other courtiers, ministers, and scholars. So these are all the courtiers, ministers, and the scholars. So all these are seated in front of the Emperor Krishna Dev Raya. Now this is the scene, the courtroom of Krishna Dev Raya. The emperor is seated on his throne. Courtiers, scholars, ministers are seated in 2 rows facing one another and discussing softly. So you must have seen the scenery of a king, how he is sitting in the middle, which are on his throne, and he is surrounded by all the courtiers and the ministers, greeting him and bowing their heads to him. So this is the scene where the Krishna Dev Raya is seated, and courtiers and scholars are facing each other and discussing softly. Now Mantriji standing up and bowing. Your Royal Highness, I have some urgent news to convey. May I have your kind permission to announce it? So now Mantriji, that is the chief minister, he stands up and bows his head and says, Your Royal Highness, he wants to give some urgent news to the king. So he asks permission to the king to announce it. Emperor, yes, Mantriji, you may. Mantriji, Maharaj, a very great scholarly Pandit Shahane has arrived here. He has mastered all our scriptures and has won great renown all over India. So Mantriji now introduce Pandit Shahane, a very great scholar, and he has mastered all our scriptures, that is the ancient writings of our country. So he is very well known. He can read all types of scripts, and he has won great rewards on it, and he is very well known all over India. And he is going to arrive in our kingdom. Emperor, he must be a truly brilliant Pandit. Mantriji, very true, Maharaj. What's more, Pandit Shahne has come here to challenge all the Pandits in our kingdom. He is visiting our court tomorrow. So this is the news which Mantriji conveys to the emperor, that Pandit Shahane is coming to our kingdom, and he is keeping a challenge to all our Pandits in our kingdom, and he is visiting our court. All courtiers Pandits began to show nervousness and appear restless. So all the courtiers and Pandits, they began to show nervousness. They are nervous to hear this because they are not that scholar. They are afraid to face this Pandit Shani. Emperor. The challenge the knowledge of our Pandit. I am not sure. So he is saying that yes, he is going to challenge our Pandit, but I am not sure. Our Pandits are not that scholar. Looking at the court, who all among you can take up this daring test of defiance? Come forth. So now the emperor asks all the Pandits, who among all of you is daring, is having dared to face this challenge, and whoever is having this dare should come forward All put their heads down in silence. So not a single Pandit is ready to come forward. All are afraid of this scholar, emperor, annoyed. Not one of you can face the Pandit. I am ashamed of all of you. I shall debar you from my court. I have never felt more disgusted. In fact, I shall sentence you all too. So now now the emperor got annoyed. He got very much angry to all this pandit of his court, and he says that I am going to debar you from my court. I will remove you from my court. You will not enjoy all the royalties of my kingdom. And in fact, he was going to sentence them, that is, he is going to ban them from his kingdom. So before he could finish his sentence, the first scholar he got up and he said, "Excuse me, Maharaj, I have a suggestion. I humbly seek your permission to voice it." Now the first scholar immediately he dares to get up and he says that I have a suggestion and I humbly ask your permission to voice it. That is, I humbly ask your permission to express my opinion. I have a suggestion. Emperor, still annoyed. What is it? It had better be a good one, or you shall be the first one to be exiled from Vijayanagar. The emperor says that your suggestion should be good one. You should give a good suggestion or I will remove you from Vijayanagar. Exile means remove you, sent away from the native country, that is from Vijayanagar. He will be banned from Vijayanagar kingdom. First scholar, thank you, Your Majesty. I am confident. Let us send for Tenali Raman. He will certainly find a solution to this predicament. Predicament means a difficult and unpleasant situation. So the first scholar says that I am confident that Tenali Raman has got the answer. He will certainly find the solution. He is a great scholar. He can challenge this scholar, that is Pandit Shahani. And so he is going to find the solution. Second scholar standing up. That's an excellent idea. Let us call Tenali Raman. He shall certainly pull us out of this tight corner. Now, second scholar supports the first scholar and he says, yes, this is an excellent idea. Let us call Tenali Raman. He will certainly find the solution. He will remove us from this difficult situation. Emperor, summon Tenali Raman at once. The emperor now orders to bring Tenali Raman to his court. A guard leaves and fetches Tenali Raman. Enter Tenali Raman going to the emperor. So the guard immediately leaves the kingdom and brings Tenali Raman. Now Tenali Raman enters the kingdom by bowing his head. Tenali Raman, I am at your service, your highness. Your wish is my command. So he says that I am at your service and your wish, whatever you say, is my command. Now the emperor says, tomorrow Pandit Shahane, a most well-known Tomorrow, Pandit Shahane, a most well-read, well-known scholar, is coming to our court to challenge our Pandit. All of them here are diffident of taking him up. They have recommended you to outwit the challenger. Will you accept it? So now the emperor says, tomorrow our Pandit Shahane, a very well-known scholar, is going to come to our court and he has challenged all our Pandits. But all the Pandits are diffident, that is, they are scared to face him. And so they have recommended, they have recommended your name to, so they think that you are very much capable to take this challenge. So they have recommended your name. So will you accept it? Tenali Raman, most certainly, Your Majesty. Let me assure you that I shall not let you down. But I have a small respect. When Pandit Shahne arrives tomorrow, all must accept me and honor me as the chief Pandit for one day. Now, Tenali Raman is just a witty poet. But then he requests the king, that is the emperor, that he is certainly going to take up this challenge. But he has a small request that when Pandit Shahne arrives, all this Pandit should accept me as a Pandit, as a chief Pandit for one day. And they should honor me and respect me for on this day. So all agree and nod their heads. So immediately all the Pandits of the Krishna Devaraya kingdom immediately accept it because they are afraid to face the scholar, that is the Pandit Shahani scholar. Mantriji, we certainly will, and I shall see to it that you are brought in with honors. Now Mantriji answers that yes, you will certainly be respected and you are brought in the kingdom with full respect. The court is dismissed. So now the scene changes now. Everybody is away from the stage. All exit after the emperor does. Now the next day scene comes, the courtiers, etc. are seated, emperor's arrival is announced. As per protocol, all stand up and bow as the emperor proceeds and takes up his place. So next day scene is that the king is seated on his throne and all the courtiers are also seated. As soon as the emperor arrives, everybody stands up and bows their head. Now emperor says, be seated. Mantriji, all sit. With your benign permission, your Royal Highness, may I call the great Pandit Shahane and Pandit Tenali Raman? So, Mantriji now announces that the great Pandit Shahane and great Pandit Tenali Raman should be called in the court. Emperor, yes, let them be brought forth at once. Guards hurry out. Enters Pandit Shahane escorted by two soldiers. So immediately Pandit Shahane is allowed to enter the court and he is escorted, he is followed by two soldiers. Mantriji, Your Highness, this is Pandit Sahani, the most revered and honored master scholar of our ancient scriptures, the pride of India. Now Mantriji introduces Pandit Sahani, that he is a very renowned scholar and he has master, that is he is very much master, that is he is a very scholar of the ancient scripts, the sacred writings of our ancient scholars. So he can read these scripts and he is a master in reading the scripts and he is very well known and the ancient script is the pride of India. Pandit Shahani gives a slight bow to the emperor. Emperor nods in acknowledgement and gestures him to be seated. So in this way, the Pandit Shahani is introduced to the emperor. So Pandit Shahani bows his head to the emperor and the emperor also nods in acknowledgement and tells him to be seated. Mantriji. And now may I announce the greatest of great scholar in Vijayanagar, the chief Pandit Tenali Raman. Now the next Pandit, that is the great Pandit, chief Pandit of Vijayanagar Empire, Tenali Raman is also introduced in the Vijayanagar Empire. Tenali Raman enters carried on a palanquin, gets off, goes to the emperor and then to Pandit Shani. So Tenali Raman is carried on a palanquin. Palanquin is a transport, is a box-like structure on which the kings used to sit and they are transferred from, they used to travel from one place to another. It is carried by the four people. So this is a transport. So Tenali Raman is carried on this palanquin and then he gets off and goes to the emperor and then to Pandit Shani. Two pandits follow carrying a huge bundle in silken cloth. They place it next to Tenali Raman. So these two pandits, they follow him carrying a huge bundle of silk cloth. So a huge bundle of silk cloth is carried with this is carried by these two pandits and they place it next to Tenali Raman. All of you be seated. Let the pandits begin the debate. The emperor says. Now Tenali Raman, placing his hand on the bundle next to him and twisting his moustache with the other, let us begin by discussing the merits of Tila Kashta Mahisha Bandhana. So these are the ancient script which Tenali Raman speaks, and he says, let us discuss about the merits, the advantage of Tila Kashta Mahisha Bandhana. Pandit Shahane, taken aback. Whoa, whoa, what was that? So Pandit Shahane is surprised. He is astonished to hear these words. So he says, what was those? Tenali Raman loudly, let us debate on the virtues of scripture, Tila Kashta Mahisha Bandhana. So he again says those scripts and he says, let us discuss about the value, the importance of this script, Tila Kashta Mahisha Bandhana. Pandit Shahane stands up wondering, moves forward and talks to himself. Pandit Shahane could not understand the script and he stands up and he starts moving and talking to himself. I have read thousands of scholarly works in Sanskrit, but have never even heard of. What was that name? Tila Bandhana, something like that. How can I discuss its merit? So Pandit Shami, he has never heard these words, the Sanskrit words and the scriptures which are said by Tenali Raman. So he says that I have never come across these words. I have read so many scholarly works in Sanskrit. I have read thousands of scholarly works, but I have never came across these words. So how should I answer this? How can I discuss on this? Pandit Shani walks up and down in deep thought. The onlookers give sly smile. Finally, Pandit Shani throws up his hands. So in this way, Pandit Shani gives up because he is unable to answer. He tries to think over it, but he is unable to answer. So he gives up. Pandit Swami, I give up. 1,000 apologies, Your Highness. I have not read the scripture that Tenali Raman mentions. I concede defeat. Tenali Raman is the greatest of all scholars. So Pandit Swami says, I give up. 1,000 apologies. 1,000, I give thousands of apologies to you, Your Highness, because I am unable to read the scripture that Tenali Raman has mentioned. And so I accept the defeat. He says, I accept the defeat because I have never came across this scripture. And he accepts that Tenali Raman is the greatest of all scholars. Bows and exits. So he bows before the emperor and exits. Emperor looking at Tenali Raman. Emperor, I am proud of you and grateful for saving the reputation and honor of our great empire. Let me reward you. So the emperor, is now becomes happy, and he says that Tenali Raman is a very um, clever fellow. And she says that I am very proud and grateful. He says to Tenali Raman that you have saved the reputation and honor of our great empire because Pandit Shahani has put a challenge on all the Pandits and nobody could face him. And you are the only person who saved the reputation, who defeated the such a big scholar, such a renowned scholar. So let me reward you. Tenali Raman, smiling and bowing. Your words of praise are my greatest reward, Your Highness. So Tenali Raman says, he smiles and bows his head and says that your words of praise are my greatest reward, Your Highness. Your words of praise are my greatest reward. Your words are my greatest reward. Emperor, but take me, Raman, to what great work did you refer? So then now Emperor wants to know the answer. How did he find out the solution? How did you get to this? Tenali Raman opens the bundle and removes a bundle of sticks tied with a thick coarse rope. Tenali Raman, Maharaj, Til is sesame, Kasta is a stick. So Tila Kasta refers to the stick or stems of sesame plants that you see in my hands. Now he shows the bundle, he opens the bundle of silk cloth and shows the bundle of sticks tied with a thick rope. And then he explains that this bundle of stick is a stem of sesame plants. So Tilakasta refer to the sticks or stem of sesame plants that you see in my hands, and pointing to the rope. This is a rope used to tie up the buffaloes. That is the maisha. Maisha means the buffalo, and the rope is used to tie the buffaloes. That is the bandhana. Bandhana is the rope used to tie something. So that is the meaning. So this is the Tila Kasta Mahesha Bandhana. So this was the meaning which he said that he made it as a great script, and in this way he makes a witty answer to the solution. Emperor laughing loudly. So the Pandit got scared when he heard such a complicated name. So this was not a very hard script. It is just a name which he had pronounced it, and in this way he made confusion to the scholar, that is the Pandit Shahane scholar got confused, and in this way Tenali Raman found out the solution, and he saved the reputation of the king. In this way the skit gets end and everyone laughs and the curtain falls. So this was the skit, the battle to Baffle. Now let us see the workshop. So the first one, English workshop. Read the following words and use them in sentence of your own. Renowned, well-known. Dr. Phillips is a renowned physiotherapist in the city. Then defiance, that is disobey. The citizen should never defines the rule of law. Disobey, that is the defines the rule of law. Here you have to change the word. Instead of disobey, it should be defines. Let us change this word. Instead of disobey, it should be defines. So the correct word is define. The city should never define the rule of laws. Now next is exile, that is banish. The terrorist should be banished from the country. Predicament, mess. She is hoping to get a loan from her bank to help her out of her financial predicament. Diffident, that is lack of confidence. She felt diffident about speaking in public. Benign, kind. He has benign habit of biting his fingernails. So students can underline the words, the following words which are used to make the sentence. Here, renowned words should be underlined. So students can underline this word, renowned. Then the next word defines. Students should underline these words. Then banish. Then predicament. Then diffident. Then benign. So in this way, the student should underline the important words. The next slide, read the following phrases and use them in the sentence of your own in proper form. Voice something to express something. The teacher asked the student to voice something to the questions asked by her. A tight corner, to be in difficult situation. We were in a tight corner during lockdown. Outwit, outshine. The deer managed to outwit the tiger by hiding itself in bushes. And concede defeat, admit defeat. The thief surrendered himself to the police and concede defeat. Now here again underline the phrases, that is tight corner. You have to underline this. Then outwit. Again, students should underline this word. Then concede. Underline this word. So in this way, students should underline the important phrases. The third slide, pick out the dialogues of Tenali Raman that prove that he had the following qualities. Now, wit and wisdom. I have taken the dialogues said by Tenali Raman. Maharaj, Til is season, Kashti is a stick. So, Tila Kashta refers to the stick or stem of season plant that you see in my hands. Pointing to the rope, this is a rope used to tie up buffaloes. Mahisha means a buffalo. Bandhana is the rope used to tie up something. So these are the words which shows the wit and wisdom of Tenali Raman. Then self-confidence bowing. I am at your service, your highness. Your wish is my command. Politeness, smiling and bowing. Your words of praise are my greatest reward, your highness. Humility. Most certainly, your majesty, let me assure you that I shall not let you down. But I have a small request. When Pandit Shane arrives tomorrow, all must accept me and honor me as chief Pandit for one day. So these are the dialogues of Tenali Raman that show these qualities. Now the fourth slide, do as directed. Make sure you do not change the meaning and tense of the sentences. Tenali Raman proved to be wittier than Pandit Shahne. Rewrite using as witty as. So the answer is Pandit Shahne proved to be not as witty as Tenali Raman. Pandit Shahne has come here. He wishes to challenge all the Pandits in our kingdom. Combine the two sentences using so. Now combine the same sentence using because. Answer is Pandit Shahne wishes to challenge all the Pandits in our kingdom, so he has come here. How can I discuss its merits? Make it assertive. I cannot discuss its merit. I have not read that scripture. Rewrite using unaware. I am unaware of that scripture. Your words of praise are my greatest reward. Begin the sentence with no other. No other reward is as great as your words of praise. The next slide. I am proud of. Rewrite using the noun form of the underlined word. I have pride in you. The noun form of the underline, that is, this is the word proud. You have to underline this. So the noun form of the underline word proud is pride. The emperor said, but tell me, Raman, to what great work did you refer? Convert into the indirect speech. The emperor asked Raman what great work he had referred to. Tenali Raman was a poet, scholar, and jester in Vijayanagar in Krishna Dev Raya's court, Panchwet. Tenali Raman was a poet, scholar, and jester in Vijayanagar in Krishna Dev Raya's court. Mantriji said, Maharaj Pandit Shah's visit to our court is an open challenge. Panchwet. Mantriji said, Maharaj Pandit Shah's visit to our court is an open challenge. So this is the workshop and the question answers. You can go through the lesson and write the question answers. So this was the lesson, a battle to baffle. If you like the video, please subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.